Hello, welcome back to my space here in Riverdale. So glad to have you back here. This little flow will take you through some hip stuff, just loosening up those hips, getting everything warm and flowing. So where we want to begin, take out your mat, lay it out nice and flat. Find yourself on all fours, your tabletop again. Tabletop, hands and palms right below your shoulders. So your shoulders align right up with your wrists, stacking those bones evenly. Both hands shoulder distance apart, and then your pointer finger parallel to the outsides of your mat. So make sure that that is happening. Your foundation is so important. And then take your attention to your hands. Press down into your fingers and lift up through your arms. Lift up through your core, so tuck that belly button in. And then open your chest, so bring your shoulder blades together on your back. Take a look back toward your knees. Make sure they're hip distance apart. And now you can't see your toes. Your toes are straight back behind those knees. So again, belly button to spine, really lifting up through that rib cage. And then lengthen through that sternum bone, straight out through the crown of your head. Your gaze is straight down. Nice big inhale here, finding lots of length. As you exhale, drop those hip points forward. Then take them out to one side or the other. Just starting to make circles with your hips. So maybe you're coming all the way back towards your heels and side swiping your heels. Maybe out to the sides, but move very slowly through this movement. Just starting to get those hips moving, starting to roll through those hips, rolling around. Allow those wrists to be loose, warming up those wrists as well. Stretch back through that front body up. Allow those hips to become heavy as you come forward. And then super heavy as you roll back and side swipe those heels. If you haven't already, take that in the opposite direction, so rolling around. And you can stay here for as long as you need to as you warm up. So don't feel like as I say things, this is Simon Says, if you need to stay a little bit longer, just stay there. Slow down in those places that are tight and bring your breath there. Allow it to start to open up. Slowly bringing that to stillness and center. Really find your foundation again. Belly button to spine, reach out through that front sternum, find length. Your next exhale, walk those palms one palm length forward. Just walking those palms forward. Again, find your fingers, lift up through your arms. Tuck those back toes and just press down, lift up through your core. Knees are only lifted about a few inches off your mat. Drop your head between your arms so that your crown of your head comes down towards the mat. Belly towards your thighs. So the upper body is in downward facing dog. And the back body is your knees are bent. Just trying to get that weight back, really working those legs. Next exhale, drop those knees down. Inhale, just start to find length. Reach out through the front body. Take your gaze forward slightly. And then as you exhale, press down into your fingers. Lift those knees. Drop your head back down towards the mat. Butt up towards the ceiling. Exhale, drops those knees down. Inhale, find length. Reach out through the crown of your head. Keeping that belly tucked. As you exhale, lift that belly up and in, knees only a few inches off the mat, belly back towards your thighs. One more time, exhale, drop those knees. Lengthen through that front body, really find length. Exhale, press down through your fingers, lift up, belly back towards your thighs. And then with your next exhale, straighten one leg, dropping that heel down any amount towards the mat. That other knee stays really bent, and then slowly moving from side to side. One knee at a time, allowing that back body to start to warm up, start to open up, start to find your downward facing dog. Then slowly over the next breath, bringing that to some stillness. Bring your attention to your hands. Really press down into your fingers. Lift up through your arms. Belly button tucks in, reach out through the front of your chest, rib cage tucks. And then as you exhale, maybe those heels drop down any amount. With the next inhale, lift that right leg up and back. Really press back through that heel. Toes are straight down towards the mat. Next exhale, drops that right foot, other leg. Inhale, lift that left leg up and back. Press back through that heel, dropping that right heel any amount more, opening that back body. One more breath here. As you exhale, drop that left foot, drop those knees. Big toes to touch, allow those hips to become heavy. And fall, slide back into your child's pose. So sliding back, allowing your belly to drop down onto your thigh. Chest down toward your knees and heads between your arms. Arms relax.
And just nice full breaths into that back body. Start to find some length in that back body. Really reaching back through those sit bones, forward through the chest. One more breath here. The next inhale, walks those palms forward. Press down into your fingers, lift your forehead, find your active child's pose. Your next inhale, lift those hips up off your heels. Tuck those toes, lift up those knees, bent knees, belly back towards your thighs, and then start to straighten one leg at a time. Back to your downward facing dog. Settle into your dog over the next breath. Your next inhale lifts that right leg up and back. This time our toes are straight down towards the mat. Rotate them to the long edge of your mat. So rotate them towards me. As you exhale, bend your knee out and across to the left side of your mat. Inhale, extend, press out for that heel. Exhale, bend that knee. Activate that hamstring. Extend. One more time, bend it in. Allow it to become heavy. Maybe take your gaze down and under that left armpit or over that left shoulder so that you can see your foot. Wave, say hi. There it is. I see it. Inhale, rotates those hips back towards center. Press out through that heel, toes are straight down. Exhale, drops that right foot down. Inhale, lifts that left leg up and back. Press back through your hip. And if you need to, between each side, you can drop down to a child's pose for a breath or two. If not, stay with me. Press back through that left heel. Toes are straight down. Your inhale rotates those toes to the long edge of your mat. So towards me again. Your exhale bends that hamstring. Bends that knee, activates that hamstring, I should say. Just a few more times like that. Extend through that leg. Press out through that heel. Activate that hamstring. Curl it in. One more time. Extend. Bend that knee. Activate that hamstring. Allow that foot to become heavy any amount. Stacking those hips, but making sure that that upper body is still nice and even. The weight is even there. You can take your gaze over that right shoulder or underneath that right armpit. Whatever comfortable for your neck. Look at those toes. There they are. The next inhale, rotate you back to center. Press out through that heel. Drop that foot down. Next to that other foot, hip distance apart. Drop those knees. Big toes to touch for your child's pose. So again, if that was a lot for you to do all in one sequence, you can drop down into your child's pose in between. You can even take a break at any point and just come back to the flow. Take it step by step. The next inhale, walks those palms forward. Find active fingers. Press down into your fingers. Inhale, lift those hips up off your heels. Tuck those toes. Press down into your fingers. Lift those knees. Drop your belly back toward your thighs. Start to straighten your legs. Downward facing dog. Settle into your dog. Next, inhale. Lift that right leg up and back. Press back through that heel. Next, lift up onto those left toes. As you exhale, slide forward towards your plank. Bending that knee up and in towards your chest. Lift up onto those toes any amount. And then step that foot between your hands. Find your lunge. Take a look back at that back foot and rotate that heel down. So here you can be heel to heel or heel to arch, depending on how open your hips are. We're going to lift up to our warrior two. So your inhale, that left hand floats up and back towards that back leg. The right hand comes up and forward over that front leg. Finding your warrior two. Exhale, bring your hands to your hips. Face the long edge of your mat. So facing towards me. Face that long edge of your mat. Open those hips. Take a look at your back foot. Make sure your pinky toe side is parallel to the back of your mat. Your front foot, those toes are facing forward, straight towards the front of your mat. Then you can see your second or third toe. So that knee, instead of dropping in, should be floating out towards that upper right corner of your mat. Your inhale lifts those arms. Your gaze can go over that right palm. Arms are really strong. Bring those shoulder blades together on your back. Watch that again. My arms are apart. Bring those shoulder blades together on your back. Open your chest. The next exhale. Find yourself lengthening over that front leg. Drop that forearm down onto that front leg. Your inhale raises that arm up. Palm facing the long edge of your mat.
As you exhale, rotate that hand so the pinky side comes down alongside your ear. Depending on how comfortable that is for your shoulder, find your space. Press down to that forearm, make sure you're finding space there, finding length. Really pressing down to that pinky side, reaching up to those fingertips. Your next inhale, press down into that front foot. Lift all the way back up. Warrior two, arms, shoulder blades on your back. The next inhale, pressing down into that front leg, straightening that front leg. As you exhale again, bring that back hand to your back hip. Press that hip into your hand into your hip as you reach over that front leg. Really find length. Find lots of length in this side body. Really find lots of length. As you exhale, dropping that hand down. Maybe all the way to the floor on the inside of that foot. Maybe on your ankle or your shin. But really finding openness. Bring your shoulder blades together on your back. Open that chest as long as your mat. And then as you inhale, that hand can come off your hip, facing the long edge of your mat. Finding lots of space in your triangle pose. One more breath here. As you inhale, press down into both feet. Rise all the way up. As you exhale, bend that front knee. Shoulder blades together on your back. Your next inhale, that front palm's going to go up. As you exhale, you're going to float that palm back. Those legs stay exactly where they are. My legs are not moving at all. This back hand's coming down my thigh and the amount. If that's not complete, you can keep it there on your hip. Really find length and open up, or wrap it around. Opening that chest any amount more. Bending in that front knee. Keep that front knee bent. Your next inhale unwinds you, lifts you back up to your warrior two. As you exhale, frame that front foot. Lift that back heel. Press down into your hands. Lift that front foot. Step back. Lift up to your downward facing dog. All that on the other side. Inhale, lift that left leg up and back. As you exhale, lift up onto those right toes. Glide forward towards your plank. Lift that knee up and in. Step it between your hands. Again, now find your lunge. As you exhale, take your gaze back. Rotate that heel down towards the mat. Heel to heel or heel to arch. Your inhale, that right arm is going to go up and back towards those right leg. And your front arm is going to go over that front thigh. Again, bring those shoulder blades together on your back. Find your chest opening up. Bring those hands to your hips. Now you can see me a little better. Take a look back at that back foot. Make sure your pinky side is parallel to the back of that mat. Take a look at that front foot. Bend that knee so that your knee is right over your ankle. If your hips are really tight, just shorten your stance a little bit. And you're going to lift up in here, but at least you'll be opening your hips. That knee will be tracking to that second or third toe, and you'll just be nice and open in those hips. As you start to open up more, the stance will become wider, and this thigh will become parallel to the mat. Your next inhale, lift those arms up, shoulder blades together on your back, gaze over that front hand. Your next exhale, we're going to make our way, reaching out, finding that side lengthening pose. Drop that forearm down. Arm rises, palm faces toward the long edge of your mat. And then as you exhale, pinky side down towards the mat. Extended side angle pose. Really finding length in that side body. Says it all in the name. Reach and lengthen. Press down through the pinky side of that toe and then up through those fingers. Open that chest any amount towards the ceiling. Your next inhale, press down into that front foot. Start to rise. That back hand goes back towards the back of your mat. That front hand forward. Bring those shoulder blades together on your back. Settle into your warrior two. Your next inhale, straighten that front leg. Your exhale brings that back hand to your hip and reaching. Find lots of length. Keep all that length in your body. And then drop that hand down. So we don't want to get down and crunch. If you have to, stay up on your shin. Open that chest. Really open up. And then lift that hand up. Rise. Shoulder blades together on your back. It's going to open your chest. Really active fingers. So active that if you were to reach up, you can lift up off that back hand. Really active legs too. That's how you know if you're actually activating, grounding down and lifting up. With an inhale, you'll lift up. Reach up through that top hand. Bend that front leg, warrior two. Your next inhale, that front palm goes up. Your exhale, wind swept. So you can just literally That palm up and back, the back palm down towards the back of your leg. Open your chest up, bend in that front knee. Those legs stay exactly where they are. Your next inhale, press down into both feet. Lift up to your warrior two. As you exhale, frame that front foot. Press down, lift that front foot. Step back to your downward facing dog. Feel all that lovely warmth in your hips. Next, exhale. Drop those knees down towards the mat. Take them as wide as your mat. Send those big toes to touch. Reach back to your sit bones. Walk those hands forward so your head can come down towards the mat. Chest reaching forward, finding length. Reach back through your sit bones and just settle into those hips. Wide knee, child's pose. Just find your breath in your back body. Then inhale. When you're ready, you'll walk those palms in towards your body so that you can lift up off those sides, bring those knees together just for a moment. If you'd like to work your hips a little bit more and extend your workout in your flow, you can do that same flow we just did to warrior two, side angle pose, and triangle pose one more time. And then come to this next part. So the next part is going to be tabletop. We'll find our pigeon pose. So knees should be hip distance apart. You're going to slide that right knee up towards that right wrist, and then walk those right toes over to the long edge of your mat. Once you're there, walk that back foot back so that you find your left hip crease right there by your heel. Stay lifted. Stay balanced in your hips. This may be the extent of your stretch. You shouldn't feel anything in your knees. You're stretching that outer hip. It should just feel like a comfortable stretch. If you're super flexible, then you can walk those hands forward, but lengthen through that front body. Keep that chest really open. So if you drop down to your elbows, again, reach through your chest, arms forward. Stay balanced in those hips, and breathe. Inhale, walk those palms in. Start to lift up off those sides. So you can stay down in your pigeon for as long as your hips may be calling on any given day. But here, we'll press down into our palms to lift up. Tuck those back toes, lift that back leg. Then press down to lift up. Extend that leg all the way back. Open that hip, so turn those toes along edge of your mat. Bend that knee again. Allow it to just open up. Next inhale brings you back to center. As you exhale, drop that foot down. Drop those knees. Take them as wide as your mat. Big toes to touch. Child's pose. Reach back through your tailbone, sit bones. Reach back to your heels. And breathe into your hips. Next inhale, walk those palms forward. Press down into your fingers. Lift up towards your tabletop. Bring those knees back towards hip distance apart. Pigeon on the other side. So that left knee slides in towards that left wrist. Walk those left toes out to the left, any amount. Just finding lots of space there. And then walk this right foot back. So you can see it a lot better over here. So you want that heel right there at your hip crease, supporting yourself in your hips. Keep those hands and everything lifted. Really activate through your core, lift up through your chest. And as you exhale to come down, finding that space where it's comfortable, keeping that chest open, keeping that chest lifted, maybe coming down to your elbows, and settling into your pigeon. Breathing into the outer hip. You shouldn't feel anything in your joints here. It's just a stretch in that outside of that left hip. Knees should feel really comfortable. If you do, back off a little bit. Make sure to stay lifted in your core. You can take a few more breaths here. And then when you're ready, you'll walk those hands in. Lift up. Again, rising up, really lifting up off that leg. Tuck those back toes. Lift that back leg. Activate that back leg. Press down into your hands. Lift all that weight off that leg as you extend it back. And then as you exhale, open that hip. Bend that knee,
cross it over. Press down into your palms, nice and even in that upper body. Just stack those hips. Allow all that wonderful warmth that we create in our hips to flow through the rest of our body. The next inhale finds you back towards center, extending that leg out, press out through that heel. Drop that right foot. And the next exhale or left foot. Men, drop those knees to follow. Take them as wide as your mat, maybe even wider this time. And then sit back onto your heels, whatever's comfortable for your hips. Dropping down, finding lots of space, lots of length. Just breathing into those hips.
As you rest here in your extended child's pose, take nice deep breaths into that back body, enjoying the benefits of your practice. Namaste.